Welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I did a video when I first started this series on East Carbon Exposed, talking about an incident that happened on the block where my house was, where a neighbor's house front door was getting slammed on by with a sledgehammer from another neighbor right next door, actually. And I was working outside in my yard, and I heard pounding over there, and I screamed at him. Well, I thought he was just over there. He was actually working on his property, but when I realized it wasn't him and something really was a problem over there, I screamed over there, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Why, get away from my buddy's door." He stops and says, turns around, and I'm across the street, and he says, "My kids are in there, my cat is in there or something," and he's beating on my neighbor's door with a hammer. Boom, boom, boom. My neighbor comes running out, everything okay, retired fella, a little bit hard of hearing, didn't initially hear it, but when you're pounding on somebody's door that hard, even if you have a hard of hearing thing, you'll eventually hear it. So he walks up to the guy because he's right at his front door, where the guy's holding this crazy person is beating on the door with a hammer. And I'm like, hey, come here. Come over here. Get away from there. Come over here, please. Come over here. Which he did. And I said, "Hey, dude," he was, and I'm screaming at him to stop. And now this happened. So he calls the police, where the chief of police shows up. Never talked to this fella before. The chief of police heard about him, heard all the stories about him a little bit, this Sam Leonard, the chief of police, by the way, never came over to talk to me. Not me, not at all. I'm the one that said stopped it, I guess. I stopped it. Well, I sort of go back to work, and the police are here. The authority is here. I found the police report, and here it is. And I'm going to read it. Type of the incident report: call for emergency. 10:33. It was early morning. It was early morning. Working. This is in September. 3 years ago. September 3 years ago. Police report number. It's public. But anybody that wants to find this, they can find it. Just put in September incident report. Violent man beating on a neighbor's door. Call type: disturbance. Male hit. Okay, this is the actual incident report that this chief of police wrote for this incident report. This is the report. Incident report. There's a number right on it. Call type: disturbance. Disturbance. It was disturbing, to say the least. I'm not sure if disturbance fits the definition at this point, and he filled this out after, obviously. After. That's what he called it, a disturbance. This is what he called it, a disturbance. Male hit the door with a hammer. Oh, these are dispatch notes. Oh, these are the dispatch notes. Let me across the street, no shirt, pants. Neighbor is pounding on door with a sledgehammer. Neighbors are outside speaking with him. Neighbor's first name, blah, 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 blah. Here's the subject. Advised subject won't leave the yard. He did not leave. He was just standing there holding his hammer, whatever, sledgehammer, and is saying, they don't even know how to spell correctly either with the denser or with the, that someone is in the house or something. They didn't even type it correctly. Someone, whatever. Oh my God, these people. 6 feet tall, gray pants, no shirt, possession, drug involved. I don't know how they would have known that in this dispatch notes, but not being violent. Not being violent is outside, asked him to leave. Subject is now standing in the street in front of the house. Denied medical request. Oh, the guy that was pounding on the door asked if they must have needed or maybe some help for him, maybe a medical request. Needed some kind of help. That's for sure. So that's the incident report. And here is now the police report that was typed up by the investigator, the initial investigator, the chief of police, Sam Leonard. Approved. He approved this. Report status approved. September 22. In September, I was called to this street concerning a man pounding on a door with a hammer. Upon arrival, I observed this person standing in the middle of the road holding a very large hammer-type instrument. See attached photo. I don't see a photo of this one. They didn't want to provide that, obviously. The police report. Oh, holy shit. Let's see, where are we at? A large hammer-type instrument. No photo. I'm in contact with this person in the road. I told this person to put the hammer down 3 times. Chief of police. Older fella. Retired kind of pension guy, drives around and, clocks in from time to time and drives home, gets a little breakfast, stuff like that. He had to come to an event, actually, this day. In the middle, I told Kurt to put the hammer down 3 times. He had a blank stare at his face and eventually put the hammer down and a horseshoe on the ground. I walked towards this person. I walked towards this person and the hammer. This person attempted to pick up the hammer. Now he attempts to pick up the hammer, and I stood on it. Don't touch that hammer again. Man beating on the neighbor's door witnessed. Bunch of beating out. The guy had a brand new door that beat it up with a sledgehammer. Stood on it. Stood on the hammer. They stood on the hammer. Okay, and I stood on it. I advised this person to back up and leave the hammer alone. Don't touch the hammer again. I am here. I'm here now. I'm in charge. Dangerous. Disturbance. It was a disturbance. This person looked at me again with the same blank stare and stepped back. I picked up the hammer and the horseshoe. There are horses in this area. There's a couple gals that used to ride horses by the store. It was awesome, actually. See them ride by the store. So I don't know where the horseshoe was found. But he had a horseshoe too. We are in rural Utah, a little itty bitty town. So, it's sort of, there's animals and horses that walk by and they drive by and I wonder if they ever got a ticket for horse droppings, possibly, supposedly. In rural Utah. Wild Wild West. Hammers and horseshoes. So I picked up the hammer and the horseshoe and locked it up in my, it doesn't say brand new vehicle, but in my vehicle, my car vehicle. I asked this person what was going on, and he pointed at the neighbor's house and said, "He has my kids in his house." And my neighbor said, I don't know what he's talking about. I am aware that this person suffers from mental issues. He's accused of different neighbor of killing his family. That is pretty dangerous, actually, now I think about it. Quite dangerous for this retired, hired chief of police making what he makes. To have to show up to something like this. It's pretty, be a little leery too. The old fella that he is. Different neighbor accused of killing his family. He also assaulted that neighbor with a pipe. I advised this person that his kids are not in that neighbor's house. They're not there. At the time, the hammer guy, hammer time. That's funny, I'll have to just get about that. Hammer time. Walked towards the backyard. I went to the gate and entered the yard. I was not able to see this person. I believe he entered his house. He entered his house. He decided to go home. I'm done here. Oh, I guess my kids aren't in there. You now have my hammer. I can't put on the shoe to the horse anymore because now you have that as well. So I'm just going to decide to go home. I think I'd rather just go home now. And he did. I guess he went home. And then, he's had enough, I guess. He sort of had enough. It's enough action for the day. In this disturbance is what they wrote. Disturbance. Not able to see this person. I believe he entered his house. I knocked on the door, but did not get a response. I can understand why. You stole his hammer. You stole his hammer. You took his hammer. Maybe not steal. Well, you did put your foot on it. You know, the hammer and the horseshoe. He's probably mad that you took his flippin' shoe. I talked with the neighbor that, you know, has the door all beat up. He showed me several dents on a steel door. See attached copy. Well, that's not there either. You know, no hammer pictures. Hammer time. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Hammer time. Whatever happened to that guy? Not sure. Actually, I'm not sure. Okay. I talked with the guy. He showed me the several dents on a steel door. See attached photos, not there. Said he wants the damaged door replaced. And then he signed the statement of what happened. And that was it. Damaged the property and the door and the hammers and all this stuff. So nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. This is across the street from my house. Nothing happens. That's it. The hammer guy goes home, have time, he goes home. He goes home. You know, I'm done playing today. I'm just going to go home. Just going to go home now. You know, Aaron's signed the statement, you know, that this happened. And I guess the chief of police went home or went, I don't know, and maybe filled this out or something. I'm not really sure what happened because he didn't come talk to me. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I seen. He didn't ask me how I helped my neighbor. He didn't ask me anything. I never spoke with the man until well, I guess I spoke with him once. I think he might have accused me of speeding down the highway or something. I walked to the city hall, paying a bill, and he's like, "Whose car is that?" That's mine. You're speeding on the highway? Who said? Did you pull me? Are you pulling me over? My car's out there. What are you talking about? No. And he went inside or whatever. Until the day of this incident, where he came over and they called him about me talking about that stupid sign they put across the street from the store I was fixing, helping to fix, wanting to work on, put a store together. When they called this guy to come talk to me about public property, he shows up and I go meet him out by his vehicle, of which he tells me that's there's dog poop over there and some kid might have stepped in something that nobody goes on. Deer go on. Other dogs, I have pictures of other dogs running all over it. All kinds of dogs that run in this little town. I have old dogs. They'd walk from my store to across the street. We'd sit by the tree. We'd go back to work. I have old dogs. And I tell him, this is public property, sir. I'm going to sit on it whenever I want with my dogs. Your site is illegal. It's ridiculous. Why are you bothering me? Oh, Simon, the dog shit or whatever. And then he starts talking about my trailer. You know, he says to me, this chief of police says to me, I can't really say anything about your trailer or what's on it my storage container that's on a movable trailer because it's on a trailer. And I said, well, yeah, it's been here 9 months. It's been in this town for almost 3 years already. At my house, where this incident happened, by the way. Where this incident happened, it was right there. So then he goes back to the dog poot again. Since he brought up something else, I'm going to bring up something else. This incident where somebody was getting beat their door on and you didn't do shit. Nothing. You drove away. You took his flipping hammer. You took his flipping horseshoe. The guy went home and went, oh, well, I guess I'll just go home. You took my ball. You took my balls. And just go home. And everybody went home. And I went, wow, what the hell? So he says to me that about this incident. I said, you didn't even arrest the guy beating on the fucking door with a hammer. Beating on the door with a hammer. My doggy's got to go out. Beating on the door with a hammer. And he goes, no, we did arrest him. No, we did. Yeah, we did arrest him. I said, no, you didn't. You're a liar. You're a liar. I was there. You're a liar, sir. In front of all the city workers, all the little kiddies, he is a liar. He didn't arrest him. He didn't do shit. He took his hammer, put his foot on it and said, don't touch that hammer. Don't touch that shoe. This guy that was beating on the door with a hammer told him 3 times to drop the hammer, by the way. This clown of a chief of police. And then get this, of which then they target me. The next day I get a ticket for my trailer, a letter from another police that they sent it over for him to remove my work trailer that had been in town for years. I'm fixing the store. I got supplies in there, equipment. Can't have it now. Can't have it now. This is how the story starts. Right here. Of which I called him a liar. A liar. He is a liar. And I'll say it to him again. He's a liar. And then the following month, get this, they don't arrest this guy ever. Or not ever, but they don't come back and find him standing out there with other hammers or in town, walking around town. He'd walk around town everywhere. You'd see him everywhere. So he's a liar. The next month, he throws a Molotov cocktail, this guy, through the same neighbor's window. The same neighbor's window. It lands on his flippin' kitchen table and goes out. Thank God. Thank God it went out. And the police are called, but yet they need all these other agencies show up. Emergency, there's a thing on the table. Whoa! You know, these little towns, they don't know what to do. It's, there's an incident. Let's just put our foot on it and see if it'll go out. We'll see if it'll go out, baby. Got some water? No. Other responders show up. They make a big deal. It is a big deal. And what else is also a big deal is somebody beating on your door with a hammer. A hammer. And you pull up. And the guy's holding the hammer. No, but that's okay. But sure, ticket me. Ticket me. Target me. Sure. That's a great idea. Not this guy. Hammer. Maybe he's got a horse. We're not really sure. He might have had a horse. And he wanted to keep the horseshoe, but he sure didn't want to play after that. I wouldn't want to play either. And the bald-headed guys don't ever want to play. They just drive around. We're all safe here. But when something big happens, they call other people. Get this through your head, everyone. They call other agencies, other people to help. So basically, they're like security guards. That's what they are. They're a security guard. You know what security guards do? Observe and report when something does happen. He's a security guard. They're all security guards because they don't do it themselves. They call other agencies to help them with incidents. Like this. Or not even like this. This isn't an incident. But they sure want to ticket people for dog shit and tall grass and dumbass shit. Steal people's cars. Fucking stickers and shit and tall whatever. This is actually what they are. They are security guards. That's what they are. Observe, report to people that actually do the job. We figured it out together. Thanks for tuning in.